What if I told you that you've been chosen for a purpose so powerful it sends shockwaves through the systems that try to control you? You're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out, break chains, and shatter illusions. The truth is, they didn't see you coming, the Cult Terminator. But who are the chosen ones? And why are they a threat to these controlling forces? Welcome to today's video, where we'll uncover what it truly means to be a chosen one, and why you hold the power to dismantle toxic systems that aim to suppress individuality and freedom. By the end of this video, you'll understand how your unique role as a Cult Terminator unfolds, the psychological traps you're breaking free from, and how to thrive as the disruptor they fear. 1. What does it mean to be a chosen one? Being a chosen one isn't about basking in the glow of ego or wearing privilege as a badge. Instead, it's a profound responsibility, a call to rise above complacency, challenge the status quo, and act as a beacon of truth in a world often clouded by illusion. To be chosen is to be aligned with deeper realities, ones that many might overlook because they're either too entrenched in routine or unwilling to question the systems around them. Chosen ones possess traits that set them apart in subtle yet significant ways. They aren't content with accepting things at face value. Instead, they question norms, systems, and traditions that others may blindly follow. They possess a heightened ability to sense deception, whether in words, actions, or societal structures, and are naturally drawn to authenticity, seeking deeper connections and truths rather than superficiality. This doesn't make them cynical. It makes them insightful. Another defining trait is resilience. Chosen ones often face unique challenges, not because they're being punished, but because their growth depends on adversity. Like a diamond shaped under pressure, their trials refine their purpose. They're often misunderstood as their perspectives can challenge comfort zones, but this isolation fosters self-awareness and inner strength. Neo from The Matrix serves as a relatable and compelling example of a chosen one. At the film's beginning, he's a seemingly ordinary man living an unremarkable life as a programmer. However, his constant feeling that something isn't right with the world mirrors the restlessness many chosen ones feel. When Neo finally embraces his purpose, he discovers not only the truths hidden from society, but also his own immense potential. Like Neo, chosen ones aren't born extraordinary. They become extraordinary by acknowledging their unique purpose and committing to it. It's not about being better than others. It's about seeing through the illusions and taking action to uplift and inspire. If you've always felt uncomfortable in rigid, controlled environments, that's not a flaw. It's a clue. You're designed to challenge those systems, to reveal the cracks and offer better ways of being. Controlled environments stifle creativity and authenticity, two qualities essential for those called to break the mold. Your discomfort isn't a sign of weakness. It's a signal that you're meant for something greater. Ultimately, being a chosen one means stepping into responsibility with humility, challenging the world with courage, and embodying authenticity in everything you do. It's a journey, not a destination, but one that leads to extraordinary growth and purpose. 2. What is a cult in this context? Toxic systems are not limited to religious cults or extremist ideologies. They permeate various aspects of society, from rigid societal norms to manipulative political structures, demanding unwavering conformity and punishing those who dare to think differently. Recognizing these systems is the first step toward reclaiming individual freedom and fostering positive change. Toxic systems thrive on control and uniformity. They may appear as deeply ingrained cultural expectations, oppressive ideologies, or even corporate environments where dissent is stifled. These systems often justify their existence by presenting themselves as necessary for order, success, or morality, masking their true purpose. To suppress individuality and critical thinking. Common signs of manipulative systems. 1. Blind obedience to authority leaders and such. Systems are often positioned as infallible figures whose decisions must be accepted without question. This discourages critical analysis and reinforces dependence on authority. 2. Suppression of individual thought. Independent ideas or opinions are frequently labeled as threats to unity. Over time, this creates an atmosphere of fear where members self-censor to avoid repercussions. 3. Punishment for questioning. Those who challenge the system are often ostracized, silenced, or punished, serving as examples to deter others from stepping out of line. Imagine a scenario in a group of 100 people. 80 conform without questioning, while only 20 challenge the status quo. This minority is often dismissed as troublemakers or rebels, but history proves otherwise. From scientific breakthroughs to social revolutions, progress has always been driven by those unafraid to think differently. For example, Galileo faced persecution for defying the Catholic Church's geocentric view of the universe. Despite immense pressure, his commitment to evidence-based science reshaped humanity's understanding of the cosmos. The willingness to question authority is not merely an act of defiance. It is a catalyst for transformation. This minority's courage to think critically and challenge unjust norms lays the foundation for innovation and progress. If you find yourself among the 20W, embrace it. You stand on the front lines of change. While challenging toxic systems is daunting, the impact of even a single voice can inspire a movement. As you navigate societal expectations and group dynamics, remember this. Revolutions are born not from silence, but from the brave voices willing to speak up. Be that voice. 3. How chosen ones become cult terminators. Human potential is a remarkable force, yet it is often stifled by systems, rules, and norms designed to keep us compliant. In many cases, these systems benefit those in power while limiting individual growth and well-being. The key to reclaiming our agency lies in exposing deception and breaking free from fear. Deception thrives in subtlety, hiding behind societal norms that are rarely questioned. For instance, take the pervasive workplace phenomenon known as grind culture. This mindset glorifies overworking, equating constant hustle with worthiness. On the surface, it promotes productivity, but beneath lies a dangerous narrative, sacrificing mental health for profit. Imagine working late nights, skipping meals, and missing family events to meet arbitrary deadlines. The reward? Burnout, anxiety, and a loss of identity outside work. By questioning this toxic norm, you not only protect your well-being, but also challenge a culture that values profits over people. Speaking up, whether by advocating for mental health days, transparent workloads, or flexible schedules, shines a light on the deception. It reminds others that success isn't measured by exhaustion but by sustainable growth. Fear is a potent weapon often used to enforce compliance. Toxic systems like manipulative social groups or controlling relationships rely on fear to keep individuals silent. The fear of rejection, retaliation, or being alone can feel paralyzing, ensuring the status quo remains unchallenged. Consider a toxic friend group where negativity and gossip dominate. You notice the harm it causes but hesitate to speak out, worried about the backlash. However, the moment you gather the courage to address the behavior, the dynamic shifts. Toxicity thrives in silence. Your voice disrupts it. The transformative power of breaking free isn't just personal, it's communal. When you speak up, others who have felt powerless may find their courage too. Your act of bravery becomes a ripple, inspiring others to stand against toxicity in their own lives. It's easy to underestimate the impact of courage, but it's a catalyst for change. Fear loses its grip when challenged by truth and authenticity. Whether it's dismantling a harmful workplace culture or confronting a toxic relationship, bravery is the first step toward liberation. Remember, your courage isn't just for you. It's a beacon for others, encouraging them to question, speak up, and reclaim their own power. By exposing deception and confronting fear, you not only transform your life but also contribute to a culture of honesty and empowerment. 4 tools to amplify your impact. The path to freedom. True freedom often begins with education and introspection. While formal schooling can provide a foundation, self-education holds the key to understanding the forces that shape our lives. By diving into subjects like psychology, critical thinking, and freedom movements, we arm ourselves with the tools to question, analyze, and ultimately reject societal norms that may not serve us. Psychology offers insight into why people conform, how groupthink operates, and what motivates human behavior. Reading books like Influence by Robert Cialdini or Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl can illuminate how external forces subtly control our decisions. These works help us recognize manipulation tactics and reclaim autonomy over our thoughts and actions. Critical thinking, on the other hand, sharpens our ability to evaluate information and challenge assumptions. Books such as Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman or The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobley teach us how to spot logical fallacies, biases, and flawed arguments. With these skills, we become less susceptible to propaganda and more confident in forming our own beliefs. Freedom movements, both historical and contemporary, show us what's possible when individuals resist unjust systems. From the civil rights movement to the struggles for women's suffrage, these stories remind us of the power of collective action and the courage required to stand against oppression. Learning about these movements through works like Why We Can't Wait by Martin Luther King Jr. or The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan can inspire us to find our role in the fight for justice. Equally important is networking. Surround yourself with people who challenge societal norms and encourage independent thought. Seek out groups, forums, or even one-on-one relationships with individuals who inspire you to question the status quo. These connections can provide both emotional support and practical strategies for living authentically. To begin this journey, take small, actionable steps. Start by questioning one unwritten rule in your daily life. For example, why do we feel obligated to reply to texts instantly? Why is taking a break often seen as laziness? By dissecting these norms, you'll gain confidence in challenging larger systems. Each small act chips away at the false structures built to control us. Over time, this process fosters a mindset of liberation. You're not just rejecting outdated ideas. You're constructing a life rooted in truth, self-awareness, and genuine freedom. In this quest, remember, education is the spark, community is the fuel, and action is the fire that transforms both the world and yourself. 5. Why cults fear the chosen ones throughout history. Systems of power and control have thrived on conformity. Those in control often rely on manipulation, instilling fear or offering rewards to maintain compliance. Yet amidst the crowd, there are always a few individuals, the chosen ones, who see through the veil of control. Immune to manipulation, they become catalysts for change, inspiring others to resist and rethink the systems they inhabit. Their actions serve as a reminder of humanity's innate desire for freedom and fairness. The concept of chosen ones disrupting control isn't merely a trope in fiction. It reflects a universal truth. When a chosen individual stands against manipulation, they challenge the status quo. This act often forces others to confront their own compliance and question the legitimacy of the systems around them. In essence, chosen ones act as mirrors, reflecting courage and agency that others may have forgotten they possess. Their influence is not due to extraordinary powers, but because they ignite a latent spark of resistance and self-awareness in those around them. Power structures, whether in governments, corporations, or even schools, rely heavily on obedience. Fear of consequences, peer pressure, or a desire for stability often keeps people compliant. However, when chosen individuals speak out, they expose cracks in these structures. By refusing to comply, they reveal that the system's power is not absolute, but a fragile construct dependent on collective acceptance. Their defiance diminishes the fear that binds others, enabling a ripple effect where more people find the courage to resist. For example, whistleblowers who expose corruption often act as chosen ones. Their bravery not only sheds light on wrongdoing but also inspires others within the system to step forward, ultimately leading to reform or the dismantling of oppressive practice. In this way, chosen ones don't just weaken a system. They dismantle its very foundation by empowering others to do the same. Imagine a high school where students follow the rules without question, even when the policies are unfair. Perhaps there's a rule that prohibits students from expressing their opinions in school assemblies. For years, no one challenges this policy until one student decides to speak up. This chosen one questions the rule during a student council meeting, arguing for free expression. Initially met with resistance, their bravery inspires others. Soon, a school-wide movement forms, demanding the right to voice opinions. Within weeks, the administration revises the policy and the school culture shifts toward greater openness and respect for individual voices. The chosen one's bravery is the ripple that creates a wave of transformation. This statement captures the essence of how individuals can disrupt control. Their courage not only inspires others but also builds momentum for systemic change. Whether in schools, workplaces, or societies, these individuals remind us that transformation often begins with a single voice saying, "Enough." 6. The emotional journey of the chosen one disruption is not for the faint-hearted, but by its very nature, being a disruptor often means going against the grain, challenging norms, and stepping into the unknown. This journey can feel isolating, especially in the beginning. When you're the first to say this system isn't working or there's a better way to do this, you might face skepticism, ridicule, or even outright hostility. Yet it is precisely this isolation that sets the stage for growth, innovation, and ultimately, transformation. Take Rosa Parks as a relatable example. In 1955, her refusal to give up her bus seat to a white man in Montgomery, Alabama, was not just an act of defiance. It was a spark that ignited the civil rights movement. In that moment, Parks stood alone, but her isolation wasn't in vain. It was the beginning of something monumental. Her courage inspired millions and reshaped the fabric of American society. However, like many disruptors, Parks faced resistance, ridicule, and threats. Her story reminds us that standing for change often means standing alone, at least initially. This isolation is where resilience begins to form. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about using adversity as fuel to propel yourself forward. The emotional strength that disruptors build over time is their most powerful tool. Instead of succumbing to fear or rejection, they learn to channel their pain into purpose. This is not an overnight process. It's a cycle of growth where each setback becomes a stepping stone. Research in psychology highlights how people who face significant challenges and persevere often develop post-traumatic growth, a phenomenon where adversity leads to higher levels of personal strength, deeper appreciation for life, and an increased sense of purpose. Disruptors embody this concept. Their ability to stay committed to their mission, despite setbacks, not only strengthens them but also inspires others. Consider modern disruptors like Elon Musk, who faced ridicule for envisioning a multiplanetary species, or Malala Yousafzai, who stood up for girls' education despite grave danger. Their missions initially isolated them, but their resilience turned them into global icons of change. The key takeaway is this: it's hard at first, but your growth becomes unstoppable when you embrace your mission. The loneliness of the beginning is temporary, and the resilience you build along the way becomes your superpower. Disruptors are not just people who challenge the status quo. They're people who rise above isolation and use it as a launch pad to transform the world. The next time you feel like you're walking this path alone, remember Rosa Parks. Remember resilience, and remember this: isolation is the chrysalis from which change emerges. 7. How to recognize your impact. Change is one of the most transformative forces in life. And when you're at the center of initiating it, the signs around you can be profound. One of the most telling indicators: people start questioning the norms you've challenged. Whether it's outdated traditions, workplace toxicity, or personal limitations, your willingness to break free begins to sow seeds of doubt in others. They may not immediately follow, but the first step is often curiosity, questioning why things are done a certain way and wondering if there's a better path. Another sign is the weakening grip of toxic environments. These spaces, whether they're at work, home, or in social circles, thrive on collective illusions. But when you step out and expose the truth, others begin to see cracks in the facade. Toxicity requires complicity. Once people see through it, the system starts to collapse. Suddenly, what once felt unchangeable begins to shift, and you might notice allies emerging where there were once skeptics. As you lead change, a powerful transformation occurs within you. You start to feel more aligned with your purpose. External validation, the applause, likes, or approval from others, loses its grip on you. Instead, you find strength in the authenticity of your journey. This alignment doesn't just affect you, it serves as a beacon for others. It's a universal truth. People are inspired by those who walk their talk. The ripple effect of your personal growth is often underestimated. To illustrate, let's use a simple calculus. If you influence just 5 people and each of them influences 5 more, your reach doesn't grow linearly, it grows exponentially. By the second level, you've impacted 25 people. By the third, 125. By the fourth, 625. In just 6 steps, over 15,000 individuals could feel the effects of your change. This isn't just theoretical. History is full of examples of how one individual, by living authentically, sparked revolutions. The ultimate role of a changemaker isn't merely to break free from old patterns. It's to illuminate the path for others. When you challenge norms, outgrow toxic environments, and align with your purpose, you don't just transform yourself. You create a model for others to follow. As others see your courage and the results it brings, they're empowered to begin their own journeys. Change starts small, but its impact is boundless. By embracing your role as a leader and lighting the way for others, you become part of something far greater than yourself. A movement toward a brighter, freer, and more authentic future. To all the chosen ones watching this, remember, you are the Cult Terminators. The systems didn't anticipate your strength, your clarity, or your resilience. You are the disruption they fear and the freedom others are waiting for. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What's one system or belief you've challenged in your life? Don't forget to like and share this video so we can empower more chosen ones to step into their purpose. Until next time, keep questioning, keep breaking free, and keep being the force of change.